Little Mr. Miyagi magic on
Oh
the
yeah, he had
set
some
of
magic.
Man with No Past.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? It's Ted again here with CountdownCityGeeks.com. We've got another fantastic interview for you. He is a man with no past and a warrior throughout the ages. Welcome, my guest, Adam Woodward. Adam, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
It's very few and far between that someone gets to portray a warrior throughout the ages. This must have been a fun project for you.
Yeah, it was. It was very fun. I got to work with some amazing people. I got to pretty much do every style of combat that you could think of. And it was just pretty much, as a guy who loves action films, that was pretty special to be a part of.
Absolutely. Talk to us about how you got involved with this wild film, Man with No Past.
So I was on a different project at the time when I auditioned for this, a prison drama in the UK called Barrio. And I'd done the audition, and then I got a meeting with the exec producer to go down to London to have a drink with him, kind of so he could get a feel for what I was like. And I managed to kind of negotiate with the project I was on that they'd like kind of release me at 11 o'clock. I'd get the train from Wales all the way down to London, which took about 4 hours. I had the meeting with Stephen Paul, the exec producer. Obviously, it seemed to go well, and then I was like rushed straight back, and then carried on with the other project I was on. And I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. And then I got the call on the day that that project wrapped, that in 2 days' time I'd be flying out to film this one. And yeah, what actor wouldn't want to get that call as one job finishes, you get to jump onto another great job.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to us about your preparation for this role. You have I don't want to guess, but maybe close to a dozen. It feels like fight sequences, and so it must have been just a lot of choreography to learn and prepare for this project.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I'm a lifelong martial artist anyway.
Ah,
Um,
fantastic.
Yeah, so it was kind of it's the first opportunity that I've had to really kind of showcase what abilities that I've had and that I've built up over the years. And yeah, there's sword fighting, fist fighting, gun fighting, bit of gung fu in there. What else? There was the horses, motorbikes, literally everything that you could squeeze into an action film. This film has. So if that's your bag, you like a bit of everything. This is the film for you. But there was numerous. We were only given a week as well for all the choreography, so I was
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
to be introduced to the stunt team, and it's like, okay, you have like multiple fight scenes, you have to learn all the choreography and get in shape as well. Like you got to look like the action hero. So that was fun.
You are also sharing the screen with a few legends here. Let's start with Jon Voight. Talk to us about the kind of actor he is on set. How helpful was he to you? Anything you might have learned from the master?
Oh, like yeah. I mean, the very first time I got to set wasn't actually a day that I was filming. And I asked if I could turn up to set, and I just wanted to get a feel for the guys and kind of introduce myself. And I uh I remember sat by the monitors and I was watching John work, and they were like coming in for his close-ups and stuff, and just all the nuances and the facial expressions he was giving and everything. I was like, oh God, I better step my game up for this one, because instantly you recognize that he's a legend and he's very experienced and incredible at what he does. And then to also be surrounded by like Marton Csokas and Nebula Bisani, he's a good friend of mine now, and Philip Winchester. They're all incredible actors and very talented at what they do and skilled at their craft. So I was I picked up something from everyone, but John was great. He was great.
Martin, that's who I was going to bring up next because he's probably my favorite, like bad guy villain of all time. Just so many wonderful roles that he's done, but mostly villains, and so he falls into this role. What is about Martin that makes him such a great sinister character?
Martin has the ability to have evil intent with his eyes whilst having a friendly smile as he looks at you. And it's this really off-putting, incredible expression that he can do. And I remember I've got a scene with Martin in the bar, in Shelley's bar in the film, and he was opposite me, and we did all of my shots first. And I mean, I'd like to think I did a decent job. And then they turned around and came on to Martin, and I could see him in the corner, kind of going over his lines of his performance. And then he came and did his performance on screen. And I remember watching him, and as I was watching him, I was so enthralled by how good he was. I just remember thinking, damn, he's definitely stole this scene off me. I was saying, I've got some stuff to learn. Well, if you're gonna learn it, he's a good person to learn it off.
Your character writer, just a wild concept, but talk to us about your character writer and how do you get into this mindset? Like, what are you thinking about yourself in order to sort of put your state into this role of this man who sort of can either travel or experience throughout time?
It's a difficult one, because you get a character like this, and it's a guy who doesn't know who he is, where he is, what's going on, and the character's journey is as he meets people and as events unfold, he kind of discovers who he is, his purpose, and what's really going on. And obviously, feature films and series and everything very rarely shoot in chronological order.
Mhm.
So when you're doing the shots, it's like, oh God, where am I in the journey? How much do I know? How much do I understand? What's his relationship to this character and that character? And that it's a challenge, but it's something that I think any actor who really is in love with the craft gets lost and really enjoys that part of the filming process. Discover keeping on top of where you are, but also trying to bring something new to each scene and recognizing what your motivations are and everything. It was fun. It's fun. He was a very exciting character to bring to life.
Absolutely. Director for this project is James Badford. Talk to us about the collaboration between you and James. What specifically did you guys talk about, or tell us about a moment where you guys really clicked and something really worked out on set?
I think James is incredibly talented at what he does. There's very few directors that could produce the kind of work that he produces under the time and budget constraints that he does things under. Like, look, this isn't like a $200 million movie, but he gets so much quality out of everything that he does that the production value that you get for what we're actually shooting is incredible. And the time constraints that he's under, the performances that he manages to squeeze out of everyone, and the cinematography, again, is just second to none. And I remember like he's got this big booming voice that like when he shouts and he takes command, like everyone stops and listens to what he does. And I love that because like there's a couple of times we would be on my close up and he'd be like, I'd give my interpretation of the scene and then he'd shout a direction and I'd give him exactly what he wanted. And then he'd be like third take and he'd just be like dealer's choice. And he'd just let me like play around with it on that last take. And we had a great working relationship. And I trust him. I remember on one of the takes, I'd slightly injured myself, and
Oh,
he's a bit of a martial artist guru himself, and he came over and he knew the exact point to press and push into my psoas to kind of release the pressure that was going on, and I was in excruciating pain, but whatever he did helped me get through the next take. So I was very appreciative of him.
little Mr. Miyagi magic on
Oh
the
yeah, he had
set
some
of
magic.
Man with No Past.
Yeah.
That's incredible. We talked a little bit about, learning the choreography, but you get to do, motorcycle riding and all this other really cool stuff in this movie. So many things you're asked to do. What's like one thing in particular that you really enjoyed learning or trained for in order to pull off this project?
I'm trying to think of I think the sword fighting
Mm,
ultimately. I have been a lifelong martial artist, and I did karate when I was a kid, and then when I got into my teenage years, I got into Muay Thai, and I've trained over in Thailand quite a lot, and more recently it's been Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and
nice.
different grappling arts, and I'd never really got to play with swords, apart from being a kid. But it was really interesting working with the stunt teams, how a lot of the, being aware of your body in space and being able to move in the correct way and distribution of weight and making sure that you can sell the strikes and everything, how that transferred quite quickly. At first it was like, oh, these feel strange to kind of hold and move, but very quickly you can kind of adapt to whatever the requirement of the stunt team was. And then once you get comfortable, then you can start having a bit of a play with things. And it was fun. It was fun, and trying to take care of the stunt team whilst also making things look real. That was the most fun challenge out of everything for me.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Anything special stunt wise that you were excited to that you were able to do yourself other than like just the choreography, or was that really just pretty much all they let you were allowed to accomplish?
No, I think with the stunt teams, when you turn up and you show that you've got a certain level of competence in your abilities, they're far more open to you suggesting things.
Mm.
So they have a routine that they may have choreographed for me, and I turn up and be like, okay, we have very limited time to learn this. But they were very open for me being like, well, instead of this, how about like I throw this punch, or maybe it's an elbow, or what about this combination in this fight? This might work or sell. And I got to work in some stuff definitely that was like within my repertoire of martial arts training, which is cool. I appreciate those guys for letting me come in and put my own twist on things.
Yeah, that's got to be very exciting for an actor, for an entire group to allow you to collaborate and share ideas, and that's a very um efficient and effective set. I feel like whenever you hear about different individuals talking and working with another and sharing ideas. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, Adam. Tell the folks at home why they should watch Man with No Past.
If you're looking for a movie that is going to entertain you in every single realm that you're looking to be entertained. There's a love story, there's violence, there's action, there's drama, there's incredible performances from the people who are in the film. Then this is the film for you. So if you're looking for something to watch, make sure you put this on.
Man with No Past will be available to buy on digital starting January 14th. Adam, thank you so much for your time, sir. Congrats.
Thank you for having me.